The story is about a little boy whose name is Max. Max stands outside his grandmother's large old house. The sun is setting behind the trees, casting long shadows across the yard. The house, though beautiful in its own right, seems to loom over him with a sense of foreboding. It's the first time he's been back since the funeral, and now it's his. Max unlocks the front door and steps inside. The house smells of dust and old wood, with furniture covered in white sheets and long forgotten memories. He pauses, taking it all in, trying to remember the warmth this place once held when his grandmother was alive. As he moves through the hallway, his eyes fall on the mirror. It's enormous, towering almost floor to ceiling, with an ornate wooden frame covered in carved roses and winds. Max remembered this mirror from his childhood, but now standing in front of it as adult, it feels much more imposing. You never liked this thing, did you, Grandma? He smiles, but there is an unease in his chest. He reaches out, touching the smooth gold surface of the mirror. A chill runs through him, but he pulls his hand away quickly. Max shakes it off, trying to focus on the task ahead, unpacking, settling in, starting his new life. The house is silent at night, save from the occasional groan of settling wood. Max steps out of his bedroom, dressed up in pajamas, heading for a glass of water. The hallway is dim, lit only by the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the windows. He walks past the mirror, catching a glimpse of himself out of the corner of his eyes. He pauses, backtracking to look more closely. His reflection stands in the mirror, but something feels wrong out of sync. Max tilts his head slightly, then moves his hand up to scratch his chin. His reflection hesitates just for a moment before mimic his movement, but the delay is unsettling. Max squints, leaning closer to the mirror, trying to figure out what's wrong. His reflection's eyes widen, staring at him with an unnatural intensity. Then slowly a grin spread across its face, white to white, almost predatory. Max, startled, stepping back. What the hell? He spins around, glancing over his shoulder, but the hallway is empty. No one is behind him. He looks back at the mirror. His reflection is normal now, standing there and it should be mirroring his confused expression. Max exhales, shaking his head. He mutters under his breath as he hurries back to his room, the image of the grin lingering in his mind. In the bedroom late night, Max lies in bed, tossing and turning, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. The house is quiet, too quiet. He pulls the blanket up to his chin and tries to close his eyes. Tap, tap, tap. A faint sound drifts through the silence. Max freezes, listening. The tapping is soft but persistent, like fingernails lightning tapping on the glass. He sits up in bed, heart pounding, a very low whispering. Max, what's that? The tapping continues, growing louder. It comes from the hallway, from the direction of the mirror. Max feels a cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. Then he hears it, his own voice calling softly from the hallway. Max, let me out. Max's eyes widen. He throws the cover off and stumbles to his feet, rushing to the bedroom door. He presses his ear against it, but the tapping stops abruptly. His breathing is ragged as he fumbles with the lock, turning it quickly. The house is silent again, but the voice echoes in his mind. Few moments later, Max places to bedroom, his nerves frying With every second, he glances toward the full length mirror in the corner of his bedroom. It stands tall, reflecting his trembling figure. Suddenly, he hears it again, a soft voice, his own, whispering from the mirror, Max, Max. Max turns slowly, dread sinking into his bones. The reflection in the mirror isn't moving with him anymore. It stands still, staring at him with cold, unblinking eyes. Then the reflection tilts its head, just as it had earlier in the hallway, its lips curling into that same unnerving grin. Max. No! The reflection places its hand on the inside of the mirror, pushing against the glass slowly, impulsively. Its fingers begins to emerge from the mirror surface, as if the glass were liquid. Max's breath catches in his throat as he watches his reflection pull itself free from the glass inch by inch. Let's switch, Max. Max tumbles back, panic taking over. He grabs the first thing he can reach, a heavy book, and hurls it at the mirror. The glass shattered with the deafening crash, shards scattering across the floor. The reflection vanishes, leaving nothing but broken glass and silence. Max's painting collapses against the wall, his heart hammering in his chest. The reflection is gone, the mirror is shattered, it's over. So he thinks. At night in the bedroom, Max tries to calm himself. He breathing finally slowly. He looks at the shards of glass scattered across the floor. Catching his breath, relief floods through him. Until he notices something strange. The room feels darker, heavier. He glances around, his eyes scanning the corner of the room, and then he sees it, movement just at the edge of the shadow. A figure steps out of the darkness. It's him, his reflection no longer bound by the glass. Whispering, "You should not have broken the mirror, Max." Max's blood runs cold as his reflection steps closer, now fully free. It's grinning wider, more sinister, eyes gleaming with something dark and hungry. Backing up, panicked Max. No, no, stay away. The reflections laughed softly. Ha ha ha. A sound that chills Max to the bone. It's time to switch. The reflections lunges and Max screams, but everything goes black. Grandmother house in the daytime. A few days later, Max's friends arrives at the house, concerned after not hearing from him for several days. They knock on the front door but get no response. After a moment of hesitation, they push the door open and step inside. One of the friends calling Max, "You in here?" The house is quiet. They move through the hallway, passing by the large antique mirror. As they walk, they notice Max standing near the end of the hallway, facing the mirror. Another friend relieved. "There he is, Max." But something is wrong. Max is standing still, staring into the mirror, unmoving. His friends approach, but the closer they get, the stranger it feels. The air around him is heavy, thick with an unsettling tension. They glance into the mirror and one of them gasps. Max's reflection is missing. One of the friends, "Where is his reflection?" Max turns toward them slowly. His face is blank for a moment before his lips curl into a wide, unnatural grin. In a low voice, "Let's switch places." The friends back away in the horror as Max's laughter echoes through the hallway.